race here at Brazil. Sorry for a little bit of a technical delay, but we are all good now here in the commentary box, aka a chair in my house. As we are on board with Father Korn, who looks to be setting the first lap time here of qualifying. And he's going to cross the line with a 109.8 on the soft compound tires. As MRC Loki with a 109.3. Go on board here with the coach in that McLaren. So it looks like most of our drivers are opting to start with the soft compound tires. Presumably that's what they will be going with in the race to start as well. As the coach with a very, very slow 113.2. As we will go down to the Ferrari of Indian Cyclone. As Ronan 8 has also just began his lap. He's on medium tires. But so far so good here from Indian Cyclone. Looking very clean right here on his lap. That's through Sector 2. He currently has a 52.9. See what he can cross the line with. It looks to be on a flyer right now. And that will be a 109.5. Barely getting beat out by DGM. So Indian Cyclone will be in third. Ronan now on the mediums. Looks to be going very slowly on those tires. And that will be an invalidated lap. Here's his teammate of Marlon Conga. I believe Sprightly, yes he is just ahead of him. I believe that is Jord the Fraud behind him. So Sprightly setting a 111.5, and then Jord the Fraud in the oh so infamous Toothpaste McLaren, or Toothpaste Williams, setting a time of 109.2 for P1. We'll send it back down here to Ronan. Looks like he's going for another lap. I believe Marlon Conga is just ahead of him, his teammate tonight in the Mercedes. As after this race, we will have our grids, I should say, finalized and ready to go for the start of our season come next week. Marlon Conga right now flying on those mediums. That's a 109.5. That is a very impressive lap by him. And then Ronan will cross with a 109.7 on the medium. So those guys doing very well right now on the medium tires. As we'll go down to 12th. As it's not actually 12th. There's just no time set there by Jords. This is what happens when your commentator has been up since 4 in the morning. He doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just here. That's it. So if you could like and subscribe and possibly give me a Red Bull, that would be greatly appreciated. Here comes George, not looking like this could be a top 5 time. Been pretty slow on this lap. I'll see what he crossed the line at. As I'm 0 for about 10 so far tonight, and we are 8 minutes into qualifying. George sets the fastest lap of qualifying so far with a 109.1, and I'm just completely blind to what any of these drivers are actually doing on track. Why am I here? Why do they let me do this week in and week out? I don't know, but I do enjoy it, and I thank all you guys for tuning in here live on YouTube. as we were just 8 minutes down in this 18-minute session of qualifying. As now Randoms takes P1 just barely from George with a 109.125. And here comes White Mike in that Red Bull, which is what I need right now, is a Red Bull. And he will come across the line with a 110.9. Not the fastest time, but you know they say Red Bull gives you wings, and maybe White Mike can just fly across the track in 3 seconds and still pole, as Father Corn has retired from the session. RIP to the father of the corn. McFossitas is looking across the line with a 109.4. Very solid time there on the mediums. So we have White Meat also crossing the line here. That'll be a 109.2, setting him into 3rd place. And like we saw on our first preseason race, these guys are very close time-wise, which is really getting me excited for the start of our season next week, which will be at Australia with a finalized grid, drivers, and car selections. It looks like DGM is just backed out of this lap. McFossitas looks like he's trying to go again on those mediums. We're not improving on his time. Looks like he might dive in the pits here. I don't see any benefit of staying out, and yes, he does. He pulls in the banana boat, and that will go on down with Marlon Conga, who looks to be setting another lap. He's currently sitting in 8th place in that Mercedes, and his helmet colors are pretty disgusting. I can't lie. It looks like someone threw up and dropped Blue Mountain Powerade on top of it. I think you need a new helmet, Marlon. But so far, so clean, unlike his helmet. As we look at that right front tire, that's beautiful. I mean, what would I do without Cody's camera angles? As we're just going to sit on board as long as we could with that right front tire. It looks like DGM has set another lap, and that was a 109.1. So our top 3 separated by less than half a tenth. That is insane. And then Marlon Conga just takes out all of their hearts and throws it on the ground. That's a 108.8. He is now nearly 3 tenths up from second. As, oh, look at Sprightly. He's cutting some grass. We're driving cars right now, Sprightly. We are not mowing the grass here at Brazil. But I guess no one told him that. But here we are with the coach. He's, I think, yeah, it's just McLaren boys and cutting grass so far in qualifying seems the only thing they can do, because they're both sitting in the final 2 spots. As we see Indian Cyclone across the line with a 109.0. Ah, just barely staying out of a 108. But so far, I'll put him in P2. Don't get mad. Into the pits. On board here with Ronan. And the coach is still cutting the grass for some reason. Someone please take him out of that car. I don't think he should be driving. I think he stuck Lando with a milk bottle and hopped in that car. Looks like Ronan will dive in the pits. No time set by him. The coach with a brilliant 130.7, but that was definitely invalidated. Sprightly is definitely not going to improve on this time so far. So we'll see these current guys. Who is the farthest ahead? Looks like it's going to be the Red Bull of White Mike, who is currently sitting with a 110.3. Hopefully he'll be able to improve on this time. He is on the soft compound tires. We see him just completely fly up the hill into turn 1. And someone just shot him. Someone has taken out his tire. So now on board with McFossitas. Can he do the same? Oh no, he avoids the grass. He thinks better of it. I guess our tire sniper in the stands was too slow to reload another bullet and take him out. So McFossitas looks to be safe here on his lap, as he is already a 10th down through Sector 1. And it has to be said, this grid so far is very close. I mean, Marlon, our only driver in the 108s right now, but Indian Cyclone all the way down to McFossitas is just separated by 0.4 of a second. I mean, this grid could be completely shaken up as our drivers get going with their final hot laps. Here comes McFossitas. What can he do? It's going to be P3 with a 109.1, barely edging out randoms right there. Will now go down to Jord the Fraud. And lots of our drivers so far tonight keeping it pretty clean, besides the McLaren boys of the coach and Sprightly. You can definitely tell these guys put some laps of practice in, as Jord the Fraud is 0.3 up on his time. He might be able to steal P1 right here from Marlon Conga. Let's see if he can. And he does. That is a 108.8. Just barely edging out Marlon. McFossitas is going very slow. George's 1997. We'll be rounding into Sector 3 right here. And weird downshift right there. That's going to cost him a lot of time. And he might not be able to improve here. And he barely does, but that will only keep him in P7. As Ronan looks to be backing out of his lap. So back on board here with White Mike. With just 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in qualifying. If these drivers who are in the pits don't get out right now, they might be unable to set a lap, as Jord the Fraud sits P1, Marlon Conga in P2, and Indian Cyclone in P3 so far. As Randoms has retired from the session. White Mike 0.6 up on his time. Will definitely not improve. We'll go down here with McFossitas. It actually looks like Marlon is just a little bit ahead of him. This will be Marlon's final lap of qualifying, unless he opts to go one more time on those tires. I don't see why, but he dives in the pits and does not set another time at all. Indian Cyclone already up 0.4 through the first 2 turns. And DGM is going very slow. Fositas right here. I believe Indian Cyclone is just ahead of him, so we'll be on board with Indian Cyclone here, who is looking to steal away P1 from Jordan the Fraud and Marlon Conga as well. They are both in the pits. They are done with qualifying. So Cyclone can steal away this pole position from Jordan the Fraud right here. And the Indian Cyclone looks like he may have invalidated. Fositas, though, still going strong. And he will get P3 with a 108.9. We will now go on board with Ronan. Our last driver here has not improved at all on his time. But even just a 10th right here could see him up into at least P7. He can still a 10th down this straight. Oh, but he cannot. And that will be the end of our qualifying session with Jordan the Fraud 98 and P1, Marlon Conga P2. And, well, my graphic went away, so P3 actually goes to me. I'm actually driving right now. But no, P3 was Mick Fositas. And then Indian Cyclone P4, Don't Get Mad in P5, Random 6, George 1997, 7th, White Meat in 8th, Ronan in 9th, and Follard Corn in 10th. But look at that top 11. I mean, just 4.5 tenths separating the first 11 drivers. Unfortunately, White Mike, the coach, and Sprightly did not get very good times in. But this grid is looking to shape out to have a tightly contested race tonight. I'm very excited to see, and it is clear weather, must say that. Since it is a preseason race, there will be no rain tonight. Nice, beautiful sun out for all of our guys. And as we wait for the start of the formation lap, I'm going to take a quick 30-second break, and we will be right back with you guys. And I am back. We're just waiting for our drivers to ready up for the start of this formation lap. And while they do so, if you can go ahead and click that like button, subscribe to our channel. Why not? We need more subscribers. We're at, I think, 80 something right now. Don't have the screen in front of me. But if you guys do that, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you're interested in joining our league, our Nightbot should be doing some work there in the comments, or whoever is handling our YouTube tonight, we'll send you a nice little message for our Discord so you can come join us here at PPR. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter as well at PPR_esports. And you'll go and see some fire tweets throughout the week and updates on races, race times, and all that good stuff. As it looks like we are just about to start the formation lap. And here we go with the Williams in P1. That is something you don't see very often. A McLaren or Mercedes behind a Williams. If I call out Oh, wrong car. One more time. I might just have to cut the stream, guys. Might just have to do it. It's just not working tonight, as I am mispronouncing everything on the stream. But once again, we have George the Fraud 98 P1, Marlon Conga P2, McFacitas in P3, followed by Indian Cyclone 4th and Don't Get Mad in 5th. As we'll get this tire data up. So, like I did say at the beginning of the stream, figured all these guys would opt to go on the soft tires for the race, and they have 11th through 14th do have the option to potentially go on mediums or hards. It's quite a bit of suicide if you decide to go on the hards, but looks like everyone has opted for the softs, so strategy should be fairly similar throughout the race. However, knowing my knowledge here tonight, I might be completely wrong, and someone could win this on a 4-stop. Because I believe I'm currently on a streak of 4 safety cars during my streams. So if we can get a 5th one here tonight, that might just be a Cody's record. Because these safety cars are rare, but when your boy's on the mic, oh, it comes out. As we just wait for all of our drivers to form back into their grid spots, see these 5 red lights go out, and we will start racing here at Brazil. PPR Division 2's final preseason race. Here we go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are out. And here we go. McFacitas with a terrible start off the line. That's going to shake the grid up very tight. We're going 5 wide into turn 1, and it is a disaster, as it looks like the coach is now doing donuts. George the Fraud maybe overtaken here by Marlon Conga. Coming into turn 3, we also have the Ferrari of Indian Cyclone right behind them, as the rest of our grid is very close as we go down the line. And back on top here with Marlon, who is harassing the gearbox of George the Fraud, with Indian Cyclone also right behind them. So we get another beautiful right front tire shot. With this top 4 very close right now. ZGM looks for a little move on the outside. There's nothing doing there. Not enough grip on the outside of the track. And then Ronan getting very, very wide right behind them. And he's going to lose a spot there to Randoms, who now promotes himself into P5. His Indian Cyclone's fallen almost a second back here through the first lap. See if Marlon makes any move here. He does not. But Don't Get Mad looks to take over P3 here from Indian Cyclone. They are side by side coming out of turn 2. And nothing doing there for them. Looks like Ronan might have gone off. He's already lost 4 places. And then Marlon and George the Fraud battling it out. Still, as we're just 2 laps into this 36-lap race. But George the Fraud so far doing a great job of defending here from Marlon Conga. He might have to do that the entire race distance. These guys look to be very evenly matched so far. A nice, beautiful shot of all of our drivers wrapping it around there, as the coach sits very lonely in 14th place. And now that we are coming into lap 3, our drivers will have the benefit of DRS, as Randoms looks to have the fastest lap of the race with a 1:12.6 so far. Ronan opting to dive into the pits. EGM very close. Marlon opting out of a move there. And nothing going with DGM. It looks like Father Corn Oh, he took a look there on McFossitas, but nothing doing. However, Loki looks like he got the move done there on Sprightly. As Sprightly also gets an overtake on George as he mows a little bit more of the grass. Looks like he missed a spot in qualifying. And Ronan comes out the pits and he has fitted the hard tires. Now if he can make those go till the end, I do not know, but that would be a feat in itself. But Marlon will have DRS here on Jord the Fraud. He's now taking it down the inside of the first corner here. Indian Cyclone looks to just tap the gearbox of Jord. And it almost looked like he was going to go off right there, but luckily did not have a big incident right there. As DGM does not have enough to make a move on Indian Cyclone, and just sitting behind them is Randoms in P5. It looks like, oh, where, and how is that not a safety car? Someone explain to me how that is not a safety car. Father Corn completely yeeted himself on the inside barrier right there off of turn 3 and opted to just leave his car sitting in the middle of the track, and there is no safety car. Luckily, none of our other drivers were taken out by that. But it does look like this gap is starting to get a little bit bigger now between P1 and P5 as Marlon sets a 1:12.1. We have White Meat going down the inside of McFossitas here with a big corner cut, losing a lot of time. McFossitas might be able to get him back, and he does. Looks like that will be the move done as they go into turn 3. But Jord the Fraud now still trying to make that place back here on Marlon. A lot of action so far, and we are only 5 laps into this race. Fraud will have the benefit of DRS. There's a DRS detection zone that is coming up right here. As for some reason I am not hearing the little click of it, but it did get activated. And not enough room there for him to make any type of a move, as Indian Cyclone is just trailing right behind that Williams. Has a good little peek on this battle, as White Meat has picked up a 3-second time penalty for a complete disregard of corners and cutting all the track limits he possibly can within just 6 laps. The DGM now right on the back of the gearbox of Randoms, but getting on the grass right there is going to cost him a lot of time and a chance for a potential overtake right here. Our top 3 separated by just a second from first to third. Marlon Conga doing a very nice job right now, maintaining his same pace, same speed, as he's picking up just a 10th or 2 every lap on Jord. Looks like McFossitas has dove into the pits. Don't know if he picked up any damage or if he's opting to go on a 2-stop. The Cyclone taking a bit of a peek there on Jord, but definitely not a safe dime bomb if he decided to attempt it. Very smartly backed out of that move into turn 3. Looks like a little bit further down, White Meat is now behind that Haas, so don't get mad, and potentially looking to take 5th place for himself. Nothing doing so far. However, turn 1 is where we will see most of the moves made here tonight, as well as turn 3. Let's see if White Meat can do anything here, as he shows like he was going on the outside and then switches it back down on the inside. And that will be the move done there for White Meat, but DGM is not giving up so quick, as he will now have DRS and a look at the inside there of the Alfa Romeo of White Meat. He sends it on the inside, oh, and he just makes a little bit of contact there with White Meat, and he resets to the track, which this was an official race like we will have next week. That would have been a severe penalty given by our stewards, but luckily it didn't cause any type of collision, and that's going to be very unfortunate for Don't Get Mad, as he'll now be all the way down back into P9. Definitely think White Meat left him the space there. Just unfortunate contact between those guys. And White Meat will now stick into P5, as Randoms is in P4. And kind of just driving a lonely race there by himself. Nice little Tuesday night stroll around the outskirts of Brazil. Jord the Fraud is not going away here from Marlon, as looks like DGM does hop in the pits and unfortunately picks up a 5-second time penalty. That's just not going to help his case at all here tonight. As Indian Cyclone as well, he's done a very good job of just sticking behind these two guys and maintaining a pretty decent pace here with our two drivers in front. We'll go ahead and look at who still needs to make stops here. So everyone from P1 to P10 will still have to make their stops of the night. Everyone who has already stopped have gone the hard. And it looks like they might try to make that last for the entire race, as DGM picks up another time penalty. Oh, but Marlon Conga with the 3-second time penalty. I believe that is the only one that he's picked up so far tonight. And I don't think Jord the Fraud 98 or Indian Cyclone have picked up one either. So that could play a major role come the end of this race. But so far as a lot of our grid starts to get spaced out, our top 3 is still very closely contested. As Jord is now just within half a second here of Marlon and cutting down that time. Will we see a move from the toothpaste McLaren? Clara Williams is hugging onto her seat there. And it doesn't look like Jord the Fraud's going to be able to get this done, but he will have DRS again down this straight. And oh man, look at the traction he got off of right there, as he's going to get that move done. And then Indian Cyclone also making move. Marlon, who's been doing a great job of defending and staying up front, is now down into P3. And we see Indian Cyclone up in the second and Jord the Fraud 98 into first. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how pit stops affect these guys, and if an undercut or an overcut will potentially get them a little bit extra time up there. and hopefully not have to defend for their lives for the rest of this race. But these guys are very close. Ooh, as Indian Cyclone could not make up his mind right there. As it looks like he could have got the overtaking done into turn 1, but just backs out of it. But now into turn 3, looks like he's got the inside line here. Can he make it stick? Oh, he just forces Jord the Fraud off the track. I mean, he didn't just get an elbow out, he got a little flying knee into there too and just shunted Jord off the track. Jord doing a very great job of not losing control of his car, but he's now going to pick up a 3-second time penalty. And if I was a steward, I would not look at that too nicely there for Indian Cyclone, as that was a very aggressive move. I think even Max Verstappen would say that was aggressive. But Marlon has dropped now 2 seconds back. Did not see if something happened there with him, but he has really fallen back from these guys. But Jord the Fraud now, you can tell he is not a happy man, as he's now just throwing his car down the inside of Indian Cyclone, as I'm completely messing up the camera angles. These guys are just duking it out with each other, throwing haymakers left and right inside of their cars. And Jord the Fraud will now have P1 with Cyclone in second. I think very well deserving there for Jord the Fraud to take back P1 without shunting off the Ferrari of Indian Cyclone like he previously did here to Jord. But Marlon now has only brought it back down to 1.5 seconds. We'll show a little bit of love down here to the rest of our grid of MRC Loki, right behind the Alfa Romeo of 252 White Meat. But it looks like Indian Cyclone again is going to be looking to make a move, and Jord the Fraud opts to go into the pits. Looking to get an undercut right there, but he's going very slowly into the pits. Marlon Conga as well, so that will promote randoms into P2. But Jord got a terrible pit entry. So I think any hopes of an undercut might have just been destroyed right there. White Meat is now into 3, Loki into 4th, White Mike into 5th, and it looks like Jord will come out in 6th. Shortly followed behind Marlon. The coach is going in the pits. McFossitas seen out there on the hards. We'll throw it right back. Oh, as Marlon Conga has retired from the race, I wonder what happened there. It looks like he just retired. Doesn't look like he might have shunted it in the pit lane. He just gave up, I guess. That's very interesting to see. Well, Loki now in 4th place. We'll see if either him or White Meat opt to hop in the pits this lap. Looks like White Meat is, so Loki will put himself up into P3. Randoms still staying out, Cyclone still staying out. So our top 3 will make that our top 4 now, including White Mike in 4th. All still have to make their pit stops. And the current leader of all of our stoppers is Jord the Fraud in 5th. But now most of these gaps are pretty large. Now all we're waiting for is to see if Indian Cyclone will opt to bring it into the pits on this lap or if he will stay out. It looks like he's staying out for another lap on those softs. He's going very long on his first stint. So is Randoms, Loki, and we'll see if White Mike decides to get a new set of tires. It doesn't look like he is. So very interesting choice by those guys. But we'll take it down here with Don't Get Mad in 11th place, looking just to secure 1 point. As he is now right on the gearbox of the grass-cutting McLaren. Unfortunately, as we've seen a lot tonight, our McLaren drivers have been using their cars as lawnmowers and not as overtaking machines, as the coach gets overtaken there by Don't Get Mad and just looks to have just backed out of it just a little bit. He just can't really get the traction down into 1 and 2. So I'll now promote DGM into 9th. But most of our grid now pretty spread out. So if I had a little fun facts of Brazil, I would probably throw them out there for you guys. But here's a fun fact. I've never been to Brazil. So there's our PPR fun fact of the night, is that I have never been to Brazil. As we are now back on board with the Indian Cyclone. So our top 4, all of them deciding to stay out on the soft and doing an incredibly long first stint. Now if we had some team radio, I'd probably hear someone crying like Lewis Hamilton that my tires are completely dead. Bono, I can't make it. I can't do it. Max, he's right behind me, and then they'll probably win the race. So we'll see McFossitas pick up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently sitting in 7th place. But this might be shaping up very well for Randoms now. He might be able to pick up a podium spot here, since Marlon Conga did retire from the race. Really, I think before even exiting his pit box. As here comes Random, Indian Cyclone, both in the pits. Let's see if any of our other drivers who have yet to pit. Nope, Loki's almost shunting it into the wall. Brazil is a very difficult pit entry because you want to keep all that speed going through. But oh man, White Mike, is he going to take P1? I know he's yet to stop, but I don't think White Mike has ever led a race for us. And look at that, he is in P1. White Mike might very well be able to lead his first ever lap in PPR, but Jordan the Fraud 98 is going to have something to say about that. White Mike, at least you're in first. If you don't finish this entire lap in first, it's all right. My former teammate in our previous league, and is very excited to see him doing some work here in Division 2 as he's dropped down division. He was previously in Division 1. But now here comes Jordan the Fraud 98. Looks like we have a yellow. Can't tell exactly what that was for. We'll go back on board here now with the battle for first. As Randoms is now dropped down into 7th. And Jordan the Fraud 98 right on the gearbox of White Mike. Looks like White Mike's hopping into the pits. And now Indian Cyclone right behind Jord. And Jord's got the harder tires. He's got more laps on him as well. So this is shaping out very well for Indian Cyclone, as he might get the overtake done right here into turn 3. He's opting to go on the outside. And he gets that move done. So that's going to be P1 now for the Ferrari driver of Indian Cyclone. As it also looks like McFossitas here is looking on the inside of Loki and gets a little bit of a touch there on the tires. But unlike DGM, McFossitas does not lose control of his car as White Mike came out of the pits in P7. We'll take it back on top here with Jord the Fraud, who's losing a lot of time. He's already lost half a second after that overtake. It looks like he might fall back quite a bit here from Indian Cyclone unless he can pick the pace up. But it looks like the benefit of DRS is definitely helping out Jord here. He's still able to keep within a few tenths of Cyclone. It looks like McFossitas again going for a dive there on Loki, and he makes it stick. Very well done from the Banana Boat Boy. As Loki took a quick peek on the inside, that would have been a dangerous move. As he'll now sit in P5. But these guys are definitely battling it out for that 4th place. As White Meat is currently sitting in 3rd. But again, with Jord now 7 tenths back. But luckily with DRS, he's able to pull right back into him. Losing a lot of time in Sector 2, I should say. But he's able to pick it right back up here. The DRS zones through Sector 3 and Sector 1. As, oh, there goes Loki making some contact with McFossitas. And Ronan's now right on the back of Loki. Unfortunately, we didn't see what happened there. Now Loki's going to be under threat of the Mercedes of Ronan. As Randoms says fastest lap of the race with a 1:11.8. But he's currently sitting all the way back in 12th place after he made contact with one of our drivers just about 2 or 3 laps ago. So it looks like he may have opted to go in the pits, and I may have just missed that. Unfortunately, I have not been on my game tonight, as Cyclone sets a 1:11.8. That's going to be the fastest lap of the race so far. And Jord is falling way back now. He's without DRS, it looks like. Yep, he is out of DRS range now, so he's going to have to bring that back within a second to have any hopes of winning this race here. Or just hoping Cyclone decides to become a Cyclone and spins himself off the track. But the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th definitely shaping up right here. Or I should say 5th through 8th. As Ronan has shunted his car into the wall. That's promoting Jord's and White Mike into P6 and 7th. And it looks like Ronan did join the track back in a safe manner as he's still cutting up a little bit more grass. So now Jord's looks to be taking a little look now here on the Red Bull of White Mike. But White Mike with the fresher and softer tires might have a little bit more traction, but George does not care. He's going to send it. And there's not enough space right there for him, but White Mike does pick up a 3-second time penalty. As Ronan has now taken a dive in the pits. Randoms again. Fastest lap of the race with a 1:11.6. And George here showing off not so great overtaking skills. He's got it on White Mike, but he just can't make the move. He's throwing his car everywhere but in front of White Mike. White Mike's still in P6 as this battle is now allowed Don't Get Mad in the Haas, sitting in 8th place. Come back right in on this battle. As we are now on lap 24 of 36, and McFossitas with a 1:11.6. Slowly creeping up the white meat there for P3. We'll see if George has any space here, and it just doesn't look like he does. Don't Get Mad has picked up another 3-second time penalty. No, he had one very early in the race. He also still has that 5-second time penalty from speeding in the pit lane, and he most likely lost a bit of his front wing. He did make contact with George right there. He just broke a little too late, and that might cost him in this battle. As Ronan has now retired from the race after being forced to make an early pit stop in the race. Looks like he may have just called it a day, as it didn't look like he'd be able to be in points contention at all unless we had a few more DNS from the race. So we will see you next week, Ronan, at Australia, as McFossitas is now taking it in the pits. It looks like he's going for the softs. Indeed he is. So here we go. George is still right on the back of White Mike. He just can't get close enough now to make a move after having 2 great chances and kind of throwing them away himself. White Mike has now done a great job of staying in front of that 2-spaced Williams and keeping himself in 5th place. So after McFossitas' pit, he does sit in 8th place. He's currently 6 seconds back, as it looks like the coach once again, and he has retired from the session. Once again, if this was a league race, our official season race, stewards would definitely give him a hefty little penalty right there for retiring on track. But luckily we are still in the preseason, as George is now sunk very far behind from White Mike. It looks like Sprightly might be a victim here for randoms. He's looking to regain some places, and Sprightly looks to be the first one for him, as he also sets the fastest lap of the race for 1:11.5, and nothing Sprightly can do right there. Oh, I take that back. Sprightly sends it right back on turn 2 there, and now randoms, without the benefit of DRS, might be still sitting in P10. Oh man, randoms had the move done. He just hit the fastest lap of the race, but couldn't make the move stick, so he's still going to be sitting in P10, as much of our drivers have at least a second between them. We'll stay on board right here with this battle, as Sprightly is cutting the grass again. Don't know what it is about those McLarens and turning into transforming lawnmowers, but that's what they've been all night, and Sprightly did not disappoint. I mean, I got to give it to him. That's a 10 out of 10 right there when it comes to cutting some grass. McFossitas says fastest lap with a 1:10.4, and he also picks up a 3-second time penalty. But he is storming towards DGM and George, who are on very old tires, and also White Mike just in front of them as well. Felicitas is already cutting that gap down very quickly. It has to be said as well that George the Fraud 98 is still not out of it when it comes to the race win. He's only sitting 2 seconds back right there from Indian Cyclone. Those hard tires might come in handy towards the last few stages of this race, because Indian Cyclone still on the mediums. Those might fall off a little later, or a little earlier I should say, than the hards will for George the Fraud. So I will not count him out, but McFaucitas now. Oh, and no overtake there. DGM just opts to go in the pits. McFaucitas is now into P7. And don't get mad again with another 5-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane. So that might take him out of the points. As it does, he's now sitting in P11. But McFaucitas is now right behind George 1997. Banana Boy, the Banana Boat Boy is flying. And he's taking a dive down the inside. And that's going to be P6. He's now looking at the back of the gearbox there of White Mike. Felicitas can make the move here into turn 1. It just looks like there's too much track between them to get anything done right there, but he will have DRS coming here through turn 2 and going into turn 3. And it looks like he might get this move done before turn 3, as White Mike with the older, harder tires just can't do anything about it. As Sprightly now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Take this right back up onto Jordan, the Fraud 98. He's currently sitting a little over 2 seconds back from Indian Cyclone. And Cyclone has been doing a great job so far of maintaining his lead and keeping this gap within a reasonable distance. As, unfortunately, Jordan the Fraud has now picked up a 3-second time penalty, potentially taking the win away, or any chance of it, as I don't believe any Cyclone has picked up a single penalty so far tonight. Unfortunately, we do not have a co-commentator with me here to be able to check that in the race director, but if my very horrible memory of tonight serves me well, any Cyclone is penalty free. Looks like the struggling McLarens of Lando, not Norris, and Carlos, I can't read signs, sitting in 9th and 10th place, are just kind of slipstreaming their way to the end of this race. As Sprightly is cutting every bit of track he possibly can, edging up the curbs and using the outside of his tires as weed eaters. Looks like White Mike again is going to be under attack, this time by George 1997. White Mike has driven a pretty decent race tonight, but he looks to be under attack here from the Williams, as McFaucitas has already killed a 3-second gap between him and Loki within just a lap and a half. And he's potentially going to be able to make a move here in the next DRS detection zone. As George does make that move there on White Mike, we'll take it back on top with McFaucitas, who does get around Loki. And doesn't look like White Mike's going to have anything there for George, so he will fall down into P7 for now, with just 5 laps remaining in this race. And George the Fraud has now caught up within a 1.5 seconds of Indian Cyclone, will he have anything to say about this race victory before this race is finished? As Don't Get Mad has now set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:10.0. He is very far back in 11th place, and he looks to just be stealing away that point from any of our top 10 drivers, as it does not get rewarded to anyone outside the top 10. But it doesn't seem like Loki's going to be able to keep within the distance here. McFossitas now sits in P4. And we'll go back on top here with George the Fraud. I mean, Cyclone, he's got him right there in his view. And he's been sitting about 2 to 2.5 seconds back the past few laps, but he's now cut it down within a second and a half. He just needs Cyclone to make a small mistake, and he'll be right back into DRS zone and potentially being able to take first place here on our final preseason race at Brazil. Once again, our official season does start next week on Tuesday night, same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We will be at Australia, and I hope to see all of you guys there. And once again, like the video, subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and that way you will know when all of our races start up. And if you want to go see some fire tweets, go to PPR_esports on Twitter and give us a follow as well. But now just 3 laps remaining, and George the Fraud is just tied on the time charts right here. I mean, he just cannot break out of a second and a half. He's been sitting within a second and a half the past 2-3 laps here, and he just can't break out of it. As I say that, he's now losing time here on the straight. So he got a bad exit. So Cyclone so far 16 laps in on those mediums. I can definitely imagine he's starting to feel the wear on those. It does have to be said that George the Fraud is 20 laps in on some hards. So both these drivers suffering from some tire wear. But Indian Cyclone has done a great job tonight. Besides that one little altercation he had with George the Fraud in turn 3, and just kind of give him the Shawn Michaels kick to the chin and sending him off track. Indian Cyclone has done a pretty good job here tonight. It looks like he might be able to take away this race victory, as George 1997 is now right on the gearbox of MRC Loki. DRS engaged, slingshot engaged. He's going to throw it down the inside. Oh, and he just can't get it done. As he will still remain in P6, but he has more than enough time to have another shot here at Loki. Now on the penultimate lap, lap 35 of 36 here at Brazil. On board with George 1997 and P6, looking to make a move on that Toro Rosso of Loki here into turn 1. Is he going to send it? No. He got there, but he just can't get in a position that it looks like favors him for the overtake. So he's going to wait it out here in turn 3. And now side by side, looks like he can get it done. Oh, they're going to take it up the hill. This is very close, but it looks like George 1997 is going to get the overtake done, and Loki's going to outbrake himself. As we now go up top with George the Fraud 98 on the last lap of the race. He's within DRS range now of Indian Cyclone. He has no ERS whatsoever. It has to be said that Indian Cyclone looks to be sitting at least on 40%. So this is going to be a tough challenge here for George the Fraud if he wants to take P1. It looks like he might just not have enough ERS. He might not have managed it as well as he wanted to. Or he might have just used it all up there on lap 35. But nonetheless, I mean, that gearbox is right there. Indian Cyclone is within his distance. If Cyclone, all he needs to do is get a good exit right here, and this will be the race victory for him. As is not exactly a Lewis Hamilton and Pierre Gasly situation, but these guys are driving it out to the line. As it looks like Indian Cyclone will win. He will win this race. George had 6 seconds worth of time penalties. What a great showing by those guys here. It looks like 2 for 2 white meat is going to come in P3, barring his own penalties. And here comes Mick Fossey-Toss, opting for an alternate strategy, and it paid off very well for him as he will finish in P4. And now here we go, George 1997 making that last second move on MRC Loki to take P5, Loki P6, White Mike with P7, followed by his teammate of randoms in P8. Here comes the lawnmowers, the coach and Sprightly. As the coach in 9th and Sprightly, very nicely done. P10. And he just had to make sure he got all the little weeds that are just sitting out next to all the grid spots right there. So that will be the end of our preseason race, and I'm very excited for Australia next week on Tuesday, same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see all of you guys here as well as our drivers, but hats off to Indian Cyclone for finishing in first place, followed by George the Fraud 98 in P2 and 2 for 2 white meat in P3. McFossetoss P4, George 1997 in 5th, Loki 6th, White Mike 7th, Randoms 8th, the coach 9th, and Sprightly in 10th. That will wrap up our top 10. As it looks like we do have just enough time for driver interviews. If I can get all these guys in. Alright, as we now have Indian Cyclone and just waiting for George the Fraud 98, and there is 2 for 2 white meat. We'll go ahead and start this without George the Fraud. Hopefully he does follow in shortly. Indian Cyclone, congrats on the win. Final preseason race until Australia next week to start off the season. How are you feeling? Yeah, well, I mean, hats off to you, man, for P1. And then White Meat, how's it feel finishing P3 on our final preseason race? Yeah, and hats off to you guys. Doesn't look like we're going to get George the Fraud in here tonight. We got to start the D1 stream up pretty shortly. So once again, congrats guys, and hope to see you next week at Australia.